And we are live. What is going on, everyone? It's your boy Johnny Dunn, and we are back with another one. Today, epic VeVe live stream. There's no drop, but today we have the VeVe AMA on the Twitter Spaces. So just hang tight. In about 10 minutes, they're going to be going live. So if anybody has any questions or anything like that, leave it in the chat down below. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Let me know in the chat if the sound's all good and everything. How we doing, fam? How we doing? I think it should be live. Let me just check this real quick while we wait for things to get started. Gonna put the link in my bio real quick. Yeah, we should be live. Just gonna listen, make sure I can hear myself. Just gonna listen, make sure I can hear myself. Hey, we're good. Perfect. Shout out to everybody tuning in today. This should be a great VeVe AMA today. I think it's going to make the market be even more bullish than what it just was. I'm sure they're going to announce some new things. So who knows? Maybe the market does dip a little bit if they announce some big announcement. But I think it's just going to get people excited for the future of VeVe, Ecomi. I think they're going to give us some updates. Hopefully, I'm really hoping today that we can, they announce when we're going to be able to put our comics in the showroom. I've been thinking that the comics may explode once that happens. Let's go. We got some people in the chat already. Let me bring the chat up here so everybody can see it. Let's go. We got APB in the house. Let's go, fam. We got Doobs. Phase 3 announcement. Let's go, VeVe fam. Boy, how we doing? How we doing, fam? Where's my rocket emoji here? Let's go. Other than the first set ever, what do you think is a good S1 set to scoop up? Wow, dude, that's a great question. I think there's a few of them. I think that Joker set, FA Joker, it's going to be huge. Because I'm pretty sure that's Series 2. And that's the FA Common, the same way Todd is the FA Common. And I'm pretty sure the FA Joker is just about the same price as the Todd, retail. I think that they were trying to signify it's like the Todd, and then the next important part in that set is the FA Joker. The Joker's such a big character. You can't go wrong. Another good S1 set also I like a lot is Adventure Time Series 1. The reason why I like Adventure Time Series 1 so much is because it's the first set, it's the second set ever. It's the first set, it has the first NFTs that are actually in color. So I think that's going to be a big deal. I mean, we see the first set ever, the black and white Batman. And then the first colored NFTs on VeVe is the Adventure Time Series 1. Powerpuff Girls, that's another huge set. I love Powerpuff Girls. Series 1, it's the first set ever of 2020, I believe. 2021. The first set ever that dropped of 2021, it was the Powerpuff Girls set. So that's another big one. It's only in the left ear. Is that the case? Adventure Time Series 1. Powerpuff Girls, that's another huge set. I love... I'm not sure why you can only hear it in one ear there. Alright, why can't we hear this AMA here? Give me a minute here, folks. They're saying the guy's headphones has a short. I always have audio issues for this though. I don't know why. Come on, work for me, man. Man, they're playing my song too. Man, let me find this out. Every point of hundreds. Alright, I'm gonna leave and then hop back out on my phone. Let's see if that I'm gonna leave and then hop back out. Like, why is this not playing? Come on. Why is this not working, fam? Anyone have any ideas here? Yeah, I was playing on my phone. That's why the sound was messy. Just give me a minute while I try to get this situated here. I don't get why. I don't know which one it is. So frustrating. Let's go. Never give up, fam. Let's go. You guys can hear it all good, right? Let's go. Cheers, fam. Let's go. Much love. We got Maxwell in the house. Yeah, I think this anime is going to be real good, fam.
All right. What is up, fam?
Let's go. You guys like it with the box in the bottom so you can see who's on stage?
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Sure can. All right. All right. I think I'm back too. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Just wanted to quickly say thank you, everybody, for joining us on today's AMA. I know there are a lot of new folks, so what we're going to do here is we're going to set the stage a bit. I think people still rolling in. Yeah, we're already over 2K. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Alex. I am in marketing here at VeVe. I will be co-hosting today with Reese Skeller, who is our head of comms and community on the Ecomi side of things. And then special guests behind the man behind the curtain, Noah Sanchez, manning the VeVe handle. Thank you, Noah. Shout out. And then we'll move to our illustrious co-founders, Mr. Dan Crothers and Mr. David Yu. Gentlemen, how are we today?
Doing great, thank you.
Also doing great. Thanks for having me.
Doing well, thanks. Happy New
Yep,
Year
it's
to
fucking great.
everyone.
Yes.
And to everybody. And to our Russian listeners, Merry Christmas. So,
It is low.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. We have a lot to cover today, so what we're going to do, I just want to set expectations. We're probably not going to spend a lot of time bringing people on stage, and we will have plenty of questions submitted by Twitter. I believe, just by looking at the types of questions that were submitted, we're going to cover a lot of this during our update anyway. So hopefully we'll get everybody's questions, the big ticket items out of the way here in the first half of this, and then we'll kind of move into Twitter questions and then bring some people up on stage if we have time. So thank you for everybody for joining, and at this point I'd like to hand it over to Reese to kind of drive us through this beast of an agenda. Reese.
Turn the fan off. Hopefully that helps.
It is quite the agenda today. Thank you very much. And just from myself as well, a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody else. I think, are we going to start with our updates, Alex? Or should we start with a bit of a 2021 recap and celebration?
Yeah, let's do 2021. It's the new year, we just kind of put a bow on 2021 or a fork in 2021, however you want to put it. And let's
Absolutely.
move forward.
The turkey is done on 2021, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, in that case, I think Dan may have just been kicked from the stage.
I just got it back on.
Put it back on. Perfect. Well, first and foremost, I think we should probably dive into the massive growth that we saw over 2021. For anyone who has been with us from the start of last year, VeVe was only made available to the public on the 24th of December. So, a little over 12 months ago now. I think at the time, maybe we had 1,000, maybe 2,000 users in the first sort of week or two that had come from our community. I'm sure we have an update as to how many active users we have now, Dan.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back in December last year, I think right up till January, we were still definitely in the hundreds of users. So it was a very small, intimate start where, you could go into the store and there'd be thousands of pods and thousands of rissos back in the glory days, which I'm sure all of the OGs remember.
And regret.
Oh, yeah, and regret. No, I'll be there later. I'll get one in a few months. But just as Rich mentioned, the user growth has far exceeded anything that we really imagined. In fact, I think, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, but the numbers that in terms of the users we managed to hit this year was our 3-year projection, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think we're on the 4th or 5th year right now.
Right.
At the moment. Yeah.
So it's been an extremely exciting year, and I'd just like to take this opportunity again just to thank really everyone in the community who was either there at the beginning or came in halfway through, and just really got so excited about these VeVe digital collectible NFTs. We really attribute and are very grateful and very thankful for everything that the community's done. And with your efforts and our efforts, I believe the other day we just cracked 1.3 or 1.4 million active users. So it's a massive percentage increase in the gross, and as I mentioned on a number of AMAs, that continues to grow each day by 20,000 plus new registration.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane. I will just take a moment to plug this. If anyone hasn't left us a review and you would like to on the App Stores, just a little reminder, if you don't mind going and dropping some nice words there.
Yeah,
if you mean that.
We're only accepting 5-star reviews at the moment, aren't we?
Yes, that's all we accept. Actually.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, just a little plug there. So, okay, we're looking at sort of 1.3, 1.4 million active monthly users now. And just to really exemplify that number, I mean, what does it take to be an active monthly user? What is the interaction there on the collector side?
Well, yeah, so technically the app metrics are broken down into 3 areas. You've got active monthly users, weekly monthly users, and daily active users. Sorry. And effectively the metric for an active monthly user is that you need to be participating within the app at least once. So our active users right now are sitting for around about, like I say, 1.3, 1.4. But even on a daily basis, you know, we are still sitting at 300 to 350,000 users. Obviously, that goes through a nice little spike when the whenever the drops roll around. But it's a very, very active community in terms of the metrics.
Yeah, incredible. I know everyone used to say like our retention rates are sort of off the charts when it comes to these things. So it's nice to break that down. And do you know roughly how many NFTs we have sold in the past 12 months?
Yes, I was looking that up just the other day. I believe we surpassed 3 million NFT editions, which is pretty crazy. I haven't done the calculation, but if I divide that by 365, that's a lot of NFT editions on a daily basis.
That is a lot. I remember, sort of earlier in the year, we had a content plan and we thought we had enough content to run out for 5-6 months, and I think it was used up in about 4 weeks.
How foolish we were, Rich.
Yeah, foolish indeed. Yeah. So to have that in place now, and the content production pipeline well and truly moving is definitely satisfying to see as well. I mean, obviously, throughout the last 12 months, there's been a lot of app updates and absolutely refactored almost the entire app, sort of in that March-April period. And with that, we rolled out one of the biggest updates that we've seen, and a brand new product, which was obviously NFT comics. How's that journey been so far?
I mean, just to circle back to your first point, I mean, like I said, we were expecting a certain number of users, and when it comes to development, you build your pipelines to anticipate, maybe 20% more of what your projections are. However, we went from 0 to year 4 in 12 months. So, I'm sure a lot of the OGs here remember the dreaded / exciting DeLorean prop back in the day.
Still
and it was really at that time that we sort of realized that, wow, the user base is growing so fast, kind of beyond our our initial expectations and our technology sort of bandwidth. So I also wanted to take this opportunity to give a massive shout out to our development team. My CTO, Kunal, Arkit, Moody, Alex, all of these developers that have been with us since the beginning and who just, well, I swear they were almost working, same with me and Dave, 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, literally to get the app, overhauled and increase that bandwidth pipeline. And then once we got to that point, which I guess would be maybe May or so, we've seen very, very smooth drops since then. And now, as a lot of the people who are in the community at the moment, the drops still sell out in under a second, and that's a lot of sort of technological stuff happening on the back end to make that happen. So feel very, very positive about the where the app is in terms of its sort of technological capabilities now, especially coming into 2022, as we're seeing, we've had so many big brands on, and each brand we bring on attracts new audiences, which obviously increases our user base. So really big shout out to the development team. They're always kind of working down in the dungeon and don't really get too much of the glory. Comics. I mean, this when we started initially discussing this with Marvel, I think it was quite early on, if I remember correctly, Dave. Like maybe possibly even back in 2020. And so when we did eventually get to roll it out, it was very exciting / very nervous, dropping that first comic. I think we're all sitting here in the development room, crossing our fingers, making sure everything would go well. But it's proved that, comics, I guess initially we sort of thought they would be like a subsidiary collectible to the NFTs, but they, really have just got legs of their own, and now comics and collectibles kind of go head to head in terms of their popularity. And it's just really exciting to see, a lot of traditional comic readers start to move over into this space. And of course, coming into 2022, as we, drop more, potentially bring on other publishers, I absolutely expect to see that grow. And, I really hope that the digital NFT comic will really start to take a big portion of the market share.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that across the community as well. We have two types of collectors, and there's obviously crossover between them. But shout out to everyone in the community that brings so much value and knowledge when it comes to the collectibles themselves, the brands, the comics. I extract a lot of value from those things, and I'm sure that everybody else does. So, again, big thank you to everyone who contributes on that front as well. Now, this was a bit more recent. That showroom version 2 rolled out after some early demos, and obviously we now have the empty showroom, or the blank showroom 2, which makes sharing photos a lot easier. How was the journey there? Am I correct in assuming there will be a V3 at some point?
There will always be a V3, but we're going to keep that one under wraps for now, because we're planning on something quite special for that. But in the meantime, we couldn't let that chalk white square showroom box hang around for too much longer, because it became a bit of an eyesore in the end. So it was great to roll that out, and I think the showroom V2 just looks a lot more aesthetic. You've got the beautiful foyer, you've got the balcony, and it's so cool to scroll through Twitter and socials to see the amazing stuff that people have created, and even in the empty space showroom as well. I can't remember the username, but I saw one the other day. Where a guy had multiples on multiples of everything, and he created this sort of like staggered effect with all of the collectibles. I'm always just so surprised by the creativity of what our do in the showrooms. And moving forward into the future with things like showroom V3, we plan on adding a lot more really cool tools in there that will just allow you to take that experience to the next level.
For sure. I mean, even the collectibles were upgraded, for lack of a better word, throughout the year. We started with the static types, and then we started to roll out some animated collectibles and things like that. I'm assuming people can expect more animated collectibles coming into the year and that kind of thing.
No, we've done with all the animated now. We're going to static. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you say, if I go back and look at the very first collectible we dropped, from the Batman 100 and the Risso and all that, to what we have now, especially some of the content that we're producing.
Oh, did we lose him?
Did we lose Dan there?
Oh, no way.
That's all right. He'll be back.
You want to finish the thought, David? Maybe.
Just going back to the collectibles, I think it was getting down to the wrestles and DC lines. I think this year, moving onwards, we've got quite a bit of lineup, and we are going to. With these property owners, we always wanted to do something a bit different for each category, so they don't really cross over each other and each other's market. I mean, I think our fans understand that the black and white series is there's 100 of them, and they probably expect there will be about 100 of them all coming out over the period of time. And then the Marvel stuff is, we're going through some of the older comic. And I think throughout the Christmas period, a lot of our fans saw a lot of the newer, the Brute came out, the Deadpool, some of the more towards the studio-alike type of collectibles. And, we really want to try a lot of new things um, a new category to open. I think this year was a quite big year. We had the USPS, the postal stamps that came out, and that really set another level of new collectors coming in. I mean, these post shops, they still sell around 50 to 100 million stamps every set they bring out. So there's a huge audience in that. And moving forward, I think over the Christmas, what else was quite big? I think the Coca-Cola Snow Globe was extremely popular. It was a surprise drop. We didn't really do that brand announcement like we normally do. And there was showrooms I've seen, with I think there was one that I liked the most was the one with the ski feel or, the snow feel for Collectible with the music background going through it, So we should be expecting a lot more these type of branded collabs with VeVe in the coming, months for this year. Yeah.
Yes, and the quality has definitely stepped up throughout the past 12 months on those collectibles, and adding those animations and more utility especially has been an incredible part of the journey. But while we've got you, David, we may as well talk about some of the brands that we brought out for the past 12 months. Now, Marvel was a real turning point for us, and I think a real signal to the rest of the NFT community that, hey, these big brands are taking this on. How long was that arrangement in the works? Is there any sort of standout moments there for you personally?
I mean, I started. We started talking to the Disney Corporation. I remember about 2018. Started out when we were based up in Singapore and the Greater Asia area. I was flying into China to speak to the Southeast, the Greater Asia market, and slowly we got into see some of the executive in Los Angeles. I think mid or late 2018, and the conversation really kicked off 2019, and I was trying to understand most of these corporations are very traditional. They like to see concepts that's been proven. I mean, selling digital asset NFT was definitely not a common word like today. Took a number of try. I think we knocked on doors, hundreds of meetings with all these licensors combined, just to get one across the line. And Disney Corporation is one of the most magical company. With so many franchise through, the acquisition of Fox, which we're seeing in the golden moments came out, and that organization has a lot. Well, I almost call it an institution now. Has a lot more other brands. For us in VeVe, it's quite important that our audience understands that we're only going to be bringing out more and more brands when we see the time fits. It's all being curated with a timeline. There wasn't much point to bring out a big IP when you only have 50,000 users. The whole idea is to go, well, we think our user base is ready for this mass market. I mean, Coke, for example, is one perfect one. Everyone knows Coke, the brand's one of the most well-known brands. But, would it be relevant if we bring something out, let's say in 2020 when we launched the ad, last year, as one of our star teasers? No, it doesn't. So, we plan things where we see we're moving into, and also when the technology allow us. So a lot of the NFTs or product that we have worked on, I mean, Dan, and I'm one of those guys. I only have one direction, and that's going forward fast. Dan is sometimes someone really put the brakes on a little bit and go, well, we can't do that. We're not ready for that. And I'm going, well, you better be, because I promised them this.
Yeah, it's on the Instagram.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks for all of that, Dad. We appreciate it.
And I think it just happened about 25 minutes ago when we got a phone call.
Yes, I'm still a bit grumpy about that, Dave. Don't bring it up. It's sensitive.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
Okay.
then you're talking a little bit about the Batman Black and White before you went offline.
Yes, we were also leading. I think I was just saying that, looking back at to touch on Reese's point about the how much the collectibles have improved over the space of 12 months from the original, Batman 100 and the Batman Risso to now, these fully customized, built from the ground up assets, just, in particular like what we're doing for Marvel, which have animation, sound effects, special effects. And then I was just going to go on to say that, coming into 2022, one of the main things that I want to see is definitely more interactivity. So, when the collectibles are in AR or are in your showroom, there's going to be a lot more cool stuff that you can do with them, whether that's interaction or, say, for example, being able to drive the DeLorean around. And the other key thing I think that we're going to see in 2022 is the utility of the tokens. For those of you who have been around for the past sort of 3 months or more, you will know that we have dropped had done some NFT drops that have had utility in it, like with James Bond, etc. And, for the most part, last year, it was us sort of driving the licensors, to push them to do some form of utility. But now that there's been a few successful drops with utility, both on our side and in the wider NFT community, we're really starting to see our licensors take a much more proactive approach. They understand now that, hey, well, cool, we can sell this digital asset and it can have some utility associated with it. And they're kind of thinking on their side now, what can we do? So I think that...
I scrolled too quick.
Yeah, I think Ben just went offline again.
Oh, maybe he just went off.
He's been something to me last couple of days. So just touching on that utility, carrying what Dan has said is, in my day-to-day job is really trying to continue to add layers of what else can we do with them and what can we try, and we'll start to see new category that will be opening.
New category.
Driving a lot more, whether there's a redemption for something like we have done in the Disney Plus week. And there's always new category that I want to open and trial, without giving too much away, stay tuned. There's a lot of good things happening.
Big things coming.
And some of these been planning for 2 years, so they don't really just come out over Christmas and go, oh, let's do that. So we're just taking it off as we go, Reese.
Yeah. I think one thing I've noticed over the past 12 months, as you mentioned, originally we were sort of pushing licensors to consider or add some utility, but it seems they're now using these NFT releases as part of their larger product strategy. We saw it with, was it Hitmonkey? The comic came out before the release on Hulu, things like that. Is that fair to say? And is that something you found?
There's a lot more coming to do with physical, real life, not just really just a TV show or promoting. There will be a lot more similar things that you see what we've done with Bond, even though that James Bond was a very, very small scale number. It was really testing to see if we could deploy something day to day with a movie launch. So, for sure we're talking to all sorts of industry, people in the theatre business, people in the musical, people in the sports, people in, live concerts. As live get back to a bit more normality in 2022, hopefully, that we'll see more and more of these execution that we have.
Got the chills.
Yeah, for sure. So really, in the next 12 months, we're kind of moving from the realm of digital collectibles and more into digital toys with that interactivity and digital merchandising, really.
Yeah.
Ooh, digital toys, merchandise?
Yeah. So there's a new term that a lot of these licensors are starting to learn from us. It's like the digital clone, you get a physical product with a digital version sitting next to it, and the idea what we really want to eventually push boundaries on is that augmented reality doesn't add another layer when you overlay on that physical product. So there will be things that we will be trialing now, and obviously it's really dependent on the technology available. You know, with this MermaidCon set coming out, I think tomorrow is going to be one of the major releases. We've been waiting it for a long time. You know, there's a lot of metallic, there's a lot of colours. You know, the see-through with another level of, you know, trial. You know, we're trialing new things and see what the public think of it.
There's also a lot of grown men that will be upset when they do not get a book corner. So be prepared for that. So, yeah.
You're Reese.
Yeah, I'll be one of them. Exactly right.
Yeah, we had an email came through, and someone actually emailed me and go, "Can he be on a wait list for the MermaidCon?" Wait list. Yeah.
To be clear, we don't have a wait list.
The whitelist.
Yeah. Perfect. Dan, you're back on now.
It's not OpenSea.
I seem to be temporarily back on for the meantime.
So we'll see how that goes. David, you just touched on those technologies, and obviously one of the big transitions we have undertaken in the past 6 months or so is changing our technology partner. So we're moving blockchain, and we have successfully completed phases 1 and 2. But just to reiterate, you know, moving to immutable is a brand new technology in and of itself. So it has been quite an interesting journey working with their dev team to get that over the line. And those of you who have been with us for a while will know that we did successfully remint about 3 million plus NFTs on immutable, and they're all live over there now. Any comments on that, Dan, on the transition and what we're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing really is with the move to immutable is really just move to an Ethereum-based chain. Obviously, layer 2 which is gasless, and obviously it has very minimal environmental impact. All of these kind of things are, you know, very important to us and very important to our licensors. Obviously, when an NFT drops to a new audience, there is still the somewhat incorrect rumor out there that, you know, all NFTs cost the power of one household for 10 years to generate. So for us, it is quite important that we continue to move along the environmentally friendly path. But really, the main thing is, you know, that Ethereum, and we all know, Reese, that you're an Ethereum purist, so
Massively.
Massively, yeah. You know, and Ethereum is obviously, you know, one of the biggest and most popular protocols out there. So it was really a no-brainer to move to an ETH-based platform, because as we move into this year with other features like interoperability, and it really just widens us up to a much bigger community. And in addition to that, you know, means that we can eventually start moving VeVe NFTs out to other marketplaces, or if people want to store them in wallets, etc. So that was really the main kind of moves, and very, very happy to have sort of phase 1 and 2 done and dusted in 2021.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I just want to add a major note is a lot of these time for us is if we were just a solid project with one artwork minting, it's easy to migrate because we have hundreds, you know, of brands that we have to speak to let them know what we're doing, and the communication, you know, takes a lot longer than if it were just a singular NFT project that we just decide to move. So things does take time, and one of the major thing about our team is that security is always the number one priority, unless we know we have everything covered on the migration, and it's all about security, ensuring that our, you know, these NFT are going to be reminted correctly, and, you know, it's not going to be jeopardizing the user's accounts. That is actually the main reason why things get delayed. We're just testing continuously to ensure everything, and, you know, that many more of the 2022 technology rollout and things that we implementing that we probably mentioned or promised last year are still going through, you know, strict testing. And we just want our audience to understand, you know, we would love to have this happen more much faster, but it does take a little longer than normal, and just be patient with us. Thanks.
Especially as this continues to expand. You know, the scope has always grown and seems to by the week. But you just touched on something there, and I'd love to get your opinions on this. It wasn't that long ago that blockchain was a bit of a dirty word to mention to licensors, and I know that over those years of trying to acquire licenses, it was quite difficult. And then obviously we've seen NFTs come to the light over the past 12 months. Has that changed the narrative and the discussion that you guys are having with licensors? Are they much more comfortable with the idea now, or are we still kind of walking some of them through it? How has that landscape changed?
Yeah, I mean, there's a fine balance of it. A lot of the IP company studio we work with have actually now got an NFT division that is front-facing with us almost full-time daily basis. And then you have the smaller companies still scoping out and trying to understand, why they can be almost guessless, and another company is you have to pay $50-$60 every time you transfer. So, but definitely there's still a lot of educational things going around, and I mean more and more mainstream company. And I think I read an article, I think possibly GameStop was looking to do a marketplace. eBay's doing a marketplace. There's a lot more mainstream company doing it. So we definitely see the words being used, and not just used that. If you compare to, and quite often my friend goes, well, it's like a Beanie Baby, you're going through a craze, and I go, well, it's not really, because the difference between now and back in the 90s, that there's only one Beanie Baby. The toy company makes that baby. So now, with the NFT, every artist and every celebrity, from sports to music and to individual talent artists are all collectively pushing this new boundary and embracing it. And big corporations, company are using it. And it would be no time that you'll start to see possibly, airlines or car registrations, your warranty cards on your fridge could all be in a NFT in one way or another. It will definitely be living around us. So we're really embracing to ensure that this technology is going to be here. Our job is to corner the collectible market and add utility to it. And you'll continue to see great products coming out, hopefully, in, for many years to come.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Well, it's great to hear that that narrative has definitely shifted. As you say, companies now have their own NFT strategies and understand that this is going to be part of their product strategy moving forward. Obviously, we benefit from being in the perfect position to help them into that industry. Now, over the last 12 months, we didn't start with many people in our community when VeVe first launched, but we do have quite a number of followers now. Alex, you probably have the most recent figures on this.
Explosive growth didn't just happen in the app. We've seen our social profiles and our Discord grow leaps and bounds over the last several months, especially. And so I just want to say, thank you to the entire VeVe fam, everybody who's along and rocking with us here on this journey. We just hit the 100K mark on Discord, which is huge. Just to think, where we started and where we are now, where we have a bunch of amazing mods, kind of helping us hold
Shout out to the
things
mods,
there,
man.
because Discord can be a jungle. We've got it really nicely organized into different channels by interest. We have drop day live shows. Anytime there's a drop, we have a group of guys and gals in there that talk people through any questions that they may have and pump people up for the drops. So, shout out to our drop day live mods as well. We have a lot in store for the Discord in the coming year with more live stream clubhouses, features, giveaways, etc. And then our Instagram, hit 100K recently. Ooh. And as did our Twitter, I believe in November. And I just looked, and we're already at 192K, which means we grew another 100,000 in just a matter of 2-3 months. Are about to hit the 200K mark there, which is amazing. Twitter has been the lifeblood of the VeVe fam, the community, where a lot of the communication happens, not only in tweets themselves, but also Twitter Spaces. There's a group of people that are always in the Twitter Spaces, educating people and talking about VeVe Collectibles and the market movements as a whole. So shout out to all those who kind of hold it down on that front. I jump in as much as I can, but they're really fun spaces to be a part of. So if you have not joined those community spaces, I highly suggest that you drop in sometime, because there are definitely some robust conversations happening there. Our YouTube has also grown significantly, although we have plans to have more content and more robust content rolling out there in the future. Right now, it's has just been our promo videos for drops, but we do plan to
add moderators.
Take more of an active role in creating content for all platforms, including YouTube, so that you can expect to see some more live streams, 101 type content, anything to do with new collectible types, etc., just to make sure that we are touching all the bases, because our audience is obviously not only on Twitter, but all around the social sphere, if you will. So yeah, good stuff happening on the social front.
Yeah,
Community
couldn't
front.
agree.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. And hopefully within that we can bring a few more artist interviews as well, so people can get to know a lot of the people we'll be releasing, and hopefully have a bit more lead time on those releases. Now, we've also seen some pretty incredible team growth over the past 12 months. I don't know if Dan is still on the stage, or maybe he's back.
Yeah, I'm finally back. I don't know what's happening today.
Twitter's not enjoying your company
No,
today.
apparently not.
But, now, 12 months ago, Dan, outside of the development team, I think there was only 4 or 5 of us kind of running around manically.
Yeah. I think there was. I think back then we had, in January there might have been 8 developers, and then but basically the remaining 4, keeping everything under wrap. What we quickly had to change and scale up, and I believe the team now is in excess of around 35 people. Plus, we obviously use a lot of external parties as well to help out with our content and other various things. So we've definitely grown the team, and moving into this year we'll continue to grow. And on that note, a lot of people ask, why don't we just hire 100 people at once? But it really doesn't work like that in the development world, and we need to continue to grow organically and evolve as the company comes on. So, as the company grows. So, for anyone with worries about that, please rest assured that we are always advertising and always hiring to expand the team out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in the past 12 months, we did welcome Alex and Noah to the team, which has obviously had a much greater impact than I ever would have. So big shout out to both of you as well.
You're too kind. I hope you meant impact in a good way.
Impact in a good way, definitely. Yeah. That's why I left this section for after the community growth. Good for that. But all right, lads, any other thoughts on the past 12 months, or are we happy to move into some updates?
Yeah, all good on my side. Again, just want to reiterate the effort that everyone's put in it. So, it's just been such an amazing journey, and I think we're all excited / nervous for 2022.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would second that happily. All right, well, first and foremost, I might just jump into the secure wallet before we get into some of the other community updates. I know a number of people, there is currently a bug which does not fetch the fee, so people are struggling to send OMI, and I think occasionally some ERC20 tokens from the secure wallet. But there is a brand new update rolling out. I think it will go live early next week. Dan, is that correct?
Yeah, that is my understanding from the developers. So, as Reese mentioned, we haven't shown too much love to the secure wallet for a while, but the past couple of months we have been working on a completely new and revised app, which will have all of the same functionality that you're used to at the moment, but there's improvements across the board, like in the history, speed of fetching rates, etc. So I think we've got an article coming out on that in the next couple of days. But it's I also am very excited to get that out, and that will resolve any of the current issues that we've had with some of the protocol APIs. So apologies to anyone who's been impacted by that. We've been working as fast as we can to get that that all updated and a new app rolled out.
For sure, and I can confirm the new app is way nicer than the current one. It's easier to use, it's much more intuitive, easier on the eyes as well, so we'll be excited.
And a big thanks to our beta testers as well. It's great to have you guys on board.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's so many people that help to move this company forward. On that then, we may as well dive into our favourite topic of FUD busting. I know a lot of people have been calling for some numbers or some data to kind of go with our efforts to cut down on spam accounts and all of those kind of things. I think a lot of people have learnt the hard way not to try and cross that evil bridge. Dan, do you want to dive into some of our securities and protections and what's going on there in the background?
Oh, what a convenient time. Damn it.
Not enjoying his company today.
No, indeed. What's up with New Zealand internet, David? What's going on over there?
It's still on the holiday mode, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, so Dan has the hard data on this subject.
Yes, he does. Let's move on to a couple other things down on the list. Okay. I think we'll wait for him to come back.
Actually, maybe we want to just jump into...
You guys can't hear anything?
Secure wallet, Reese, do we want to talk about token migration, and then we kind of backtrack from there?
I think this guy's
Yes, we can absolutely do that.
the only one who can't hear
as
anything.
most people will know, hopefully, at this stage, phase 3 of our migration to Ethereum, or to Immutable X, is to migrate the Omi token. Now, at the moment, I think we're shaping up for the last week of January to actually open that site. And really, it's just there are a lot of people still on holidays at the moment. Between now and then, I want to make sure we have as much possible communication out that we can so that everybody understands what is taking place. So next week, I will look to run 2 AMAs, probably, or really a bit less AMA and a bit more explanation. So I think we'll do one in VeVe Discord on Monday and probably one on Twitter Spaces on Wednesday. And the following week, I'll change it up and do Tuesday and Thursday. Just hopefully to nail a few different time zones. Anyone can come in and ask questions that they have there or solve any confusions. But just to give a general overview, this isn't something to be scared of. It's a pretty simple process. If you're an Omi token holder, you already know how to interact with crypto tokens. So to put it simply, as VeVe sits on layer 2 on Immutable, if you would like to use your tokens within the VeVe app for things like staking or the Omi drop raffle and any sort of Omi related activity, you need your tokens on layer 2. Now during the migration or prior to the migration, you can send your tokens to your in-app VeVe wallet and they will automatically be swapped to layer 2 token. If you miss the migration window, we will open a bridge in the VeVe web wallet. So you can still port between layer 1 and layer 2 at any time. The only difference being you'll have to pay gas fees. Now, Ethereum gas fees are not that friendly at the moment. So it's just something to be aware of. Now, if you are the kind of token holder who prefers to trade their tokens or you're looking to trade them in the future, you need layer 1 Omi tokens. All exchanges at the moment still operate on layer 1. In order to get layer 1 tokens, you need to send them to your exchange account prior to the migration date, and the exchanges will swap them for you. And that's it. Right? As soon as they're swapped, you can move them back to your own wallets that hold ERC20 tokens. But just keep in mind, you won't be able to use those in the VeVe app. You will have to bridge between layer 1 and layer 2, and I will release instructions on how all of that works prior to the migration date. So they're the two automatic and essentially free ways of porting your tokens. And there are 2 articles on the Ecomi blog at the moment, medium.com/Ecomi, that detail this. It shows you sort of, we have an explainer about layer 1 and layer 2 and where those tokens go. And we also have an article about the 3 swap options. Now the third option is a manual migration. So we have built a swap site, essentially, that will let you move your tokens from the existing GoChain Omi token to the new Ethereum Omi token. Now you can do this at any time. Right? Once the migration date has been set and the swap site opens, you can wait until gas fees are lower. If you're not planning on using your tokens for a while, you can port them in 3 months if you choose. It's completely up to you. The only difference is, one, you need a bit more knowledge as to how to interact with MetaMask and this site. And I've written an entire walkthrough guide that will help you out, and I'll also release a video walkthrough. And two is the cost. Because you're paying gas fees on the GoChain side and on the Ethereum side, and you're essentially minting tokens, it's a higher order transaction, it will cost you a bit in gas to manually migrate. Now, who would want to use the manual site? I mean, if you're security conscious, you don't want to store large sums of value on the exchanges in the interim. If you've missed the migration window, any of those things, the manual migration site would be potentially be your best option. But outside of that, I'll dive into these details more in these AMAs in the next week or two, and release that walkthrough and those instructions. So by the time we get to the migration towards the end of the month, everybody should be aware of their options, everybody should be aware of how it's going to take place, and the best option for them. So hopefully we can cover bases.
Just so everybody's aware, we've pinned here at the top a tweet from Ecomi with the swap options article directly to the Medium. So please click through that, and we'll be posting, or Reese will be posting, all of the information about the quote-unquote AMAs, or the informational sessions that we'll be having across Twitter and Discord from the Ecomi Twitter handle. So if you're not following them yet, please do so. We'll probably offer some information on the VeVe side as well, in the form of retweets, but Ecomi Twitter is the best place for you to get all of the most up-to-date information on token swap, swap options, Medium articles, etc. And these informational sessions.
Yeah, perfect. And I'll drop them in the announcement channels, and I thank all of our community and YouTubers and everybody in advance who I'm sure will also help us to get the word out there. Now, as I always do, I will reiterate once again, please only use the official links. Only use what we are posting. Do not trust any link that gets sent to you in Telegram or anywhere else. The only options you have are the options we've listed. Nobody else can swap your tokens for you. So just be wary of any sort of scam, any other token offering, or anything else. Otherwise, it's easy to be caught out by some of these things. So
we will, to note, just to add to that, sorry, Reese, we will never DM you on Twitter, Discord, or otherwise with any information about token swaps, nor will any members of the team. So please do not follow any DM'd token-related links.
Yes, great advice. Now, Dan, we have about 4 minutes before Twitter kicks you out again. So let's dive into some of this data. We were going to get into the FUD busting, and I believe you have some numbers as to sort of what's been taking place lately.
Yeah, so I just wanted to start off on talking about bots, which is obviously fairly prevalent in the community. And, to be honest, it comes up on every AMA, every week, 1 or 2 photos or videos start circulating. And I just want to remind people that, we take bot activity or any kind of automation, scripting, emulators, bots extremely seriously. And, we pay tens of thousands of dollars a month in bot protection services, plus, a whole range of activity that happens behind the scenes, and especially around drops. I mean, we have dedicated people in the company who look for various identifiers when it comes to drop traffic to identify any bots. And I just want to point that out again, just because our drops sell out so fast that the immediate assumption is that, oh my God, it's all taken by bots. But as I've expressed many times before, that is not the reality. And with bots, it's always a battle of cat and mouse. We implement a whole range of security features that block a lot of bot activity. They might come up with a new solution. Our security teams jump on that ASAP and look for and implement solutions to prevent what they're doing. But I think just the general assumption is because things sell out so fast that the only way that can happen is bots. But the actual reality is, for any drop these days, as I mentioned earlier, we're up to 1.3, 1.4 million active users, and we often see 10% of those users in any drop traffic. So if there's a drop of, like, let's just say a 10,000 edition comic comes out, you are competing with 100,000 plus users to get that, and all of those users are basically hitting that buy now button at the same time you are, and so really you have a 1 in 10 chance of potentially securing, and that's why the drops have become a lot more difficult and a lot more evasive recently. So I can understand that's the perception out there is based on what people see. I can understand how that comes about, but as I say, we do take bot protection very, very seriously, and on each drop, we ban or we block up to 25 to 30% of the traffic that is coming in, which is all bots for the most part. And I believe off the top of my head, there's been something like 250,000 accounts that we have banned or disabled or put into restricted mode because they have been identified as bots. Now, whenever we do these, sort of sweeping bot detection, there are unfortunately some false positives, and if you have been caught up in that, we do apologise. We actually have a division within the support team whose job is to go through and look for users who might be on the fringe of that bot detection and accidentally marked as a false positive. So we're constantly working to improve, making sure that the net is more refined and tighter for securing bots and making sure that we don't get any false positives in. And one of the changes that we are also looking to make on support side is, any false positives that we are able to potentially identify, we will prioritise those accounts, because obviously we don't want them to be locked out if you are actually an innocent user. But for the bot users out there listening, and I'm sure there's some, you're running a very risky game, because if you get caught, your account is going to be disabled because you are 100% in violation of the terms and conditions.
Don't be cheating.
That's a line that you may want to walk, but just understand that there are risks for what you're doing, and that risk comes down to basically losing your access to VeVe. Moving into this year, we've got into this month, we've got a bunch of major upgrades happening to our bot protection system. None of which I can go into any detail, or the CTO will give me a slap on the hand. But
Don't be giving away the secrets.
I just want to reiterate that even though it seems from a perception point of view that because these drops sell out in seconds, that the only way, in quotes, that can happen is bots, it's actually not the case. I mean, just think about movie tickets or sneaker drops. All of these companies are affected by the same thing. And I think we might have mentioned it last time, but I think the US government is trying to put through a law, an anti-bot kind of law, and it just shows that this is a pervasive issue in the digital economy. But something that we are that we spend a lot on, we work a lot on, and we have dedicated people in the company to detect these people. But at the end of the day, it's still a small number of bots that actually do manage to get through.
And just to add some more context to what you had mentioned at the top there with the explosive user growth, we do keep an eye on the number of the amount of app traffic that we're seeing per drop, and I can't remember the last time that I've seen it below what is it, over 150,000, 200,000 people going for any given drop, and that just odds wise, I know it doesn't seem like it for you, and you've seen it. Like, something sell out in less than a second, but honestly, it's everybody, that many people pressing a button just slightly quicker than you. It is, for me, for example, I try to participate in any drop that I can. I get maybe 1 in 10 these days. And that's just how tough it is. And and I have a pretty good internet connection. I'm in the States, next to a, actually that's, it shouldn't matter, but like I have fiber essentially is what I'm getting at. And I'm still strike out most of the time.
Yeah, I'm much the same. So just in case anyone's wondering, we don't have magical staff accounts that help us get drops.
wait, that's, we hear you. We understand. We are frustrated, as you are, when we see those pictures. We absolutely do care. So any, narrative that somehow, we're in on it or we don't care.
They're in on it.
Untrue. We are diligent and going after any new technology, but as Dan mentioned, it is a moving target, and sometimes these guys find new ways to get in. But the success rate is dwindling increasingly from the already small percentage that we saw getting through. So we appreciate your patience. We know those images are frustrating, but we go out of our way to kind of deep dive and research those things to make sure that we know how they're working.
For sure. And obviously in the next 12 months, I mean, the plan is to release more drops to make VeVe more fun and enable people to be able to collect some of their favorite things as well. So
that might be good. Just a good quick little segue into the drop mechanic. For any new people listening today. So right now our drop mechanism is, you've got to be on the drop screen, and it's really whoever smashes that buy now button the fastest, or whoever has the best VeVe tips and tricks, which there are a lot out there online at the moment.
Let's go.
But we will be moving to a waitlist type system. And I know that this may not be as exciting and as exhilarating as the current drop system, but there are a wide range of reasons why we're moving to that. And I guess at the top of the list is really just making it fair for everyone. So basically the way it'll work is that let's just say 10 minutes or so before the drop takes place, the waitlist will open. You will, instead of hitting a buy now button, you will click a join waitlist button. And then when the drop actually happens, the server will randomly choose, X number of people from the waitlist to assign additions to. So this just makes it more fair across the board for, especially for new people coming in. And then secondly, obviously during the drops, there is a lot of pressure on, our back end and our servers and such. So moving to a waitlist system is more fair and just allows us to distribute the traffic in an easier way. So that waitlist development is coming along very well. Most of the back end infrastructure is in place, and we're now working on the front end or the UI. And I believe, if I remember correctly, when we do deploy the new waitlist system, we will choose a couple of drops to trial the waitlist system on. So it's not going to just be one day it's not the waitlist, and the next day the waitlist. We're going to roll it out over a couple of drops just to make sure everything is working fine. And then once we are comfortable with everything, then we will replace the existing drop mechanism with the waiting room. And the other cool thing about the waiting room is that as we continue to develop the Master Collector program, and then we roll that out, and you will be able to spend your points on buying drop lottery tickets. These will effectively give you another entry into the waitlist. So, for example, I go into a drop, I click on the join the waitlist, I have one entry in that waitlist with everyone else. But with the Master Collector program, I can choose to use my MCP points to buy or purchase additional entries into that waitlist, giving me a greater advantage. So I personally am very excited about this new drop system. I think it's going to be a nice transition, make things a lot more fair and just a lot easier across the board.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Yeah, and I just wanted to mention we get a lot of message where users and customers say, well, why don't we just mint more collectibles, make the edition bigger? And one of the main purpose of what VeVe tried to bring here is really to ensure that collectible is collectibles. And there's many ways we are trying to figure out, do we do a toy line for the mass market? So rest assured that, our thinking heads on, but we just want to make sure everything that we do bring out is going to be collectible, and there's a reason why we bring them out. And we do work with our IP owner studio to ensure that, their brand is not being overly exposed or used. So that's that one. And then I think we're coming up to this. A couple months ago, we did I think last month was a serial killer with Ron English, and I think for all the collectors out there who completed their whole series 1, 2, and 3 of the Ron English, got a beautiful rabbit. I think it was a gold rabbit, and we made a mistake when we run through some of our data and number, and we basically what's happened is we went a little bit too less, and we couldn't satisfy every collector out there who owns a complete set. So I know it's been a number of weeks. We've been trying to figure out how we handle this problem, and the easiest solution is we do, and then correct me if I'm wrong, I think we have about a few hundred users out there or collectors out there who has completed that missed out the golden rabbit. Is it correct? Or we're looking around 300, 400. Yeah. And obviously there's only 666 of those rabbits, so we couldn't actually just go and remit more. So with great communication and support from Ron, we have decided to mint a new run of the gold, and I think is the Lucky Charmer.
Whoa.
So there will be a gold one being minted this week, and it will be
That's awesome.
sent out to all the members who completed the set within the time period. It's already registered on our Excel sheet short form. We'll be sending these golden charmer to your account. I think maybe the first half of next week. So
just to be clear, David, just so nobody goes out and starts rushing to complete all 3 series, the snapshot's already been taken, so we already have those users.
Correct.
Noted. Okay, great.
Yeah, and just to be fair, we are also minting 666 of them. So it's not going to be more rare, or it's going to be more common. So that we understand the secondary market does take huge effect on how many we mint. So we just want to be fair to ensure the number is going to be same as the golden rabbit that we sent out. And the Lucky Charmer basically is the ultra rare from the season 2 or series 2. So we basically minted the rabbit was ultra rare from series 3. So it's basically the same rarity and the same edition number, and it will be sent out to approximately that type of users out there. So we do apologize that it's taking us this long to get to it. It was a very, very hard decision, and we had a lot of internal discussion, and basically I think Dan had a big word with the guy who was running the report. It's a major error. We'll never want to see this happen again, so we put in new measurements in as well to ensure this doesn't happen. So for those of you out there who has the complete set that before our cutoff day, and that snapshot, like Alex had mentioned, it's already been taken weeks ago, you will have that delivered to you hopefully the first half of next week coming
That's
up.
awesome.
And we wish you all well on, I tried to get that one as well.
Perfect. Yeah, big thank you to everyone for their patience on that one. there's obviously quite a few moving parts when this kind of thing happens. But on that note, I think there are some VeVe app updates to discuss, Dean.
Let's go. Put comics in there.
Yes, I think it's only live to the VeVe track at the moment.
Okay.
But yeah, we have a couple of cool updates coming. So number one, with the release of Showroom V2, I think I promised a couple of AMAs ago that we would also be doing some big updates to all of the movement controls as to how you place and position your characters. Now, in the current version, you have to tap on the character, and then there's like 3 buttons down the side for moving, rotating, and scaling, etc. But now what we've done is we've updated that just to make it far more gesture controlled. So you basically tap on the collectible, and then just using your finger, you can drag it around. You can pinch directly on the screen to scale it up or down, and then to rotate it, you just drag your finger off the selected character. So I've been playing with that for a couple of weeks, and it's far more intuitive and far easier to move your collectibles around now. So some of the amazing stuff I've seen from the Voltaholics, etc. And you guys have really done such a great job, given that the tools were a little bit difficult to use. So very excited to roll that one out. There was also, in the showroom, there was one issue that we resolved where if you added more than one of the same collectible, and then you deleted or removed the second collectible you added, it would sometimes remove the first one you've added, which can obviously be a little bit frustrating. So I think that issue has been resolved. In the store, we have also made a couple of updates. The biggest one being around the drop times. So what we've actually done is all of the drop times will now be represented in your local time. That is the time that is shown on the phone device that you are using to view VeVe. So, for anyone in the West Coast of America or PST time zone, you're obviously going to see 8 a.m. PST.
That's cool.
However, for myself in New Zealand, that will actually show for me the following day at 5 a.m. So no longer will we need to, do these sort of time zone calculations. And then there were just a couple of other small updates, like some reordering of collectibles on the drop screen, so they're ordered by rarity. And then one of the other issues was that the drop screen in the store sometimes wasn't showing all comics and upcoming comics in that, so that one's been fixed. A couple of other minor updates to messaging in the app. I believe that there was, if you missed out on a reservation during the drop, it would actually pop up a message saying something went wrong. Actually, nothing went wrong. You just unfortunately weren't successful in securing a collectible. So a lot of that messaging has sort of been updated now to be a lot more, just have a better explanation as to actually what's going on. Then in the market, there's been a lot of work on the back end just to help improve the collectible listing. I know there was a small group of users that would get repeating collectibles in their market lists as they were scrolling down. And I believe in the next update going out, there's been some big improvements to that, plus some optimizations in the market as well, just to help it run a lot smoother. And the one last thing in the market that's happening now is we're introducing a reservation system, very similar to how we run the drops at the moment. And the reason we're introducing this in the market is obviously if you're wanting to buy a collectible, most people will go for whatever is the floor price or the cheapest one in the system. And what's happening now is that we get multiple people going for that one edition. And let's say I click on it, I buy it, but at the same time Reese is clicking on it, but then he doesn't click the buy now button as fast as I do. So he would then get an error of some sort saying that this collectible is no longer available. So what we'll be doing is adding the reservation system in. So if you are in the process of buying a collectible from the market, and then someone else comes in and clicks it and tries to buy it as well, it will actually pop up a message saying, sorry, this collectible is currently reserved by another user. And I think that will just help a little bit of frustration, especially for those people who are, always going into the floor price, which, let's face it, is all of us. No one wants to pay higher than the floor. So, well, at least for me personally, anyway. And expecting all of those updates I just mentioned will be rolled out early next week, and then the market reservation, I believe, will be rolled out in the following week.
Perfect. So some good updates coming. A couple of other ecosystem updates to cover, and there seems to be, I think we've got more than 3,000 people in this space, so just in case anyone is new, Dan, do you want to explain what the MTL is and what it is to the app, and then we can sort of update on how it's going?
Yeah, absolutely. So the MTL, or money transmitter license, what we actually refer to internally as payout, gives our users the ability to convert any gems that they have in their wallet to whatever your local currency is, and then have that currency transferred down to your bank account. So hey, let's say you're extremely lucky, you participated in the crazy 1000 edition comic drop, and all of the VeVe gods were with you and shining on you, and you managed to get super rare. And you buy that for $6.99, and then you manage to sell that in the market for a higher price. What the payout feature does, well, it allows you to then convert those gems, like I say, into your local currency. So you can actually financially benefit from the drops. Now, one of the main objectives for us was, we have an international audience, so we need to be able to pay out around the globe, not just in USD, not just to the main areas. So one of the reasons the MTL has been in development for so long is that over the past couple of years, the laws around AML, which is anti-money laundering, and KYC, which is know your customer, have become extremely strict and extremely stringent. And because VeVe is, in the NFT / kind of crypto space, we get, a lot more scrutiny and a lot more eyes. However, I am very pleased to say that, late last year we deployed that into our production environment, and we have had a small group of users in there, going through the whole process, making sure everything's working. And I believe that there is just one last step that we need to do on our side, which is to do with our AML requirements here in New Zealand. And unfortunately, in New Zealand right now, we're in the summer season and the holiday season, and for some reason, lawyers seem to take like 5 weeks off. But I know, I've never heard of this holiday thing until I looked up. So yeah, they're all back on Monday. So I anticipate in the next few weeks we'll be rolling that feature out to a wider beta testing group. And as we mentioned previously, this is a big feature. There's a lot of financial transactions involved, so it's not something we're going to turn on immediately for everyone. We will be basically rolling users into the program, and that'll be based on how many gems you've got in your account, how much of an active user you've been in VeVe, how long you've been in VeVe. And then as we start to get better and better and just feel more and more confident that the solution is working well, we will then eventually open it up to everyone.
And just another note, we want to make sure that everyone understands that the service, the MTL withdrawal or payout, may not be available at your region. There are countries that will be excluded, not because we want to, it's because those countries or regions doesn't allow us to do certain functions in the payouts. So we will be advertising that once we start the program. So it's not going to be available to everyone. So yeah, we just want to make that clear.
We'll make sure to document all of the ins and outs and processes and kind of the beta testing rounds as we get closer. As Jen mentioned, the holiday or
even the common
some answer on the AML is happening next week, so we will then be able to kind of get a better sense of how we're rolling this out into what groups, obviously what countries. So be on the lookout for more information on our blog.
Thanks, Alex.
Yep, good to know. I might one question I always kind of get around that, it's more accusation than question, is why didn't we kind of think of this ahead of time? So just there isn't a lot of us that were around then, but when VeVe first launched, you could cash out through Omi, essentially. You could sell your collectibles, or that was the idea, that you'd be able to swap back. But as Dan mentioned, that regulatory landscape really started to change around KYC and AML, and so we had to kind of pause that as our mechanism. Now, normally, I think to really integrate with a third-party MTL like this would take 2 to 3 years to kind of acquire the licensing and do that. So even though this integration has taken longer than we thought and longer than people expected, it's actually still happening at quite a rapid pace compared to a normal.
Yeah, and I think just to add to that, Reece, the plan in the beginning was never to have any kind of cash out mechanism. I mean, the idea was to basically, buy collectibles and have fun with the collectibles that you own. But as the app started to evolve, and we started monitoring the user behavior, and then the prices skyrocketed, that was when we sort of identified that people have a lot of value in the app that they would more than likely want to transfer into their local currency or whatever. So it's not like we thought about it ages ago and just sat on our laurels. It really is, we were identifying what was happening in the app, what the user demand was. And then as Reece mentioned, we started this journey in 2021, and it's taken a lot less time than would typically happen for our particular type of implementation.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, a couple more ecosystem updates. The Omi utility program, we do have a couple of staking tiers in development, and we need to model a few things. Any updates there, Dan? Do we want to kind of broach those tiers or anything else?
Yeah, really, it's just down to refining those last few tiers at the moment. And as I mentioned on the last AMA, we are looking to add in more benefits for those higher stakers. When it comes to accessing or getting collectibles. Where the complexity is on our side is that if we're offering collectibles to the higher stake tiers, we need to work that in with our content program, with our licensors, and all the other touch points along the business.
Yep. So again, hopefully we'll have the next version of that out shortly, and we'll absolutely go for another round of feedback. So please don't change your lives around based on version 0.2. We'll have that there. And another thing people are definitely waiting for is the web platform.
Let's go.
So how's that progressing?
Web platform is going great, actually. I'm jumping in it every day with the development team, and like I've mentioned previously, really most of the platform has been developed. There's a saying that I like to use when it comes to any form of development, which is that the last 20% always takes 80% of the time. So now that all of the major components have been built and everything's in place, we're just going through and checking that everything, all the user flows, everything kind of works as we anticipated. And if we spot something that might be a blocker, we'll go through and just do a bit of redevelopment on that. Now, there is one last step that we'll absolutely be doing a little bit later on this month, which is having a very comprehensive audit of the web platform, so security audit of the web platform, just to make sure. Obviously, we discussed bots earlier in the program. Bots are a lot easier to kind of control and maintain when it comes to the apps, but when it comes to web, it's a little bit more open. So we will be making sure that we get a very comprehensive security audit in place, and then there's a few other back-end services that we'll be adding in as well to ensure that our platform is protected as much as possible.
For sure. And just for anyone new to the community or to our spaces, do you want to just explain the web platform a little bit? It's obviously a mirror of the app to start, but we're kind of expecting a lot of that user experience to move to the web platform. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, basically when we roll out the web platform, it effectively is just the browser version of the app. We haven't added too much in the way of any new technology that might be web specific, and in fact moving into the future, we will always try to keep the app and the web platform and any other platforms that we roll out on as synchronized as possible. Obviously, on phone, you've got all of the AR and augmented reality features, which you can't necessarily get on desktop. But outside of that, you'll have your virtual showrooms, your collection, the feed, the market, and really the whole idea around the web platform is just that it is an easier way for people to participate and interact with the app. I mean, I'm literally sitting at my laptop 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. So it'd be great if I can just always have that tab open to check the market, see what's going on.
Sure, for sure.
Will there be cases, Dan, where there might be specific types of drops or functionality specific to the web platform?
At the moment, no.
Okay.
It's potentially something we might look at in the future, but as I mentioned, we really want to keep the VeVe app as similar as possible across all platforms. So there's no disadvantage if you don't have a web platform, or you don't have this or don't have that. So we do want to try to keep the experience and the offering the same, regardless of how you're interacting with it.
Makes sense.
Perfect. Now we will get to community questions very shortly. I know we're kind of running over time, but as our first chat, there is quite a lot to go through. Before we get there, what can people expect this year? We've kind of touched on a few things. Obviously, once the migration to Immutable is complete, we can look at interoperability. What are our big ticket items for maybe the first quarter or first 2 quarters?
Yeah, so firstly, we obviously have the Master Collector program in development. Very excited to get that out. I think that's just such a great way for us to be able to reward, the collectors who participate and interact with VeVe a lot. And, if you've got a large collection, then, you're obviously a very vested VeVe user. So very excited to get that rolled out.
Let's go.
As you mentioned, Reese, interoperability. So that development will kick off post phase 3 of the token migration. And just a reminder that when it comes to interoperability, it won't be every single one of our licenses that go out. There's some of our licensors are still a little bit nervous about this crazy Wild West that is the NFT world. But I think, as I've mentioned a couple of times, I really do believe as NFTs continue to grow and become more accepted, and other platforms put in security measures to keep licensors happy, or at least ease their conscience, more and more will start to roll out. So when we do get to that point, we will be announcing a list of what all of the interoperable collectibles will be. But just to echo what Reese said, don't go and make any assumptions and dump all your SRs in favor of something else, because we're still working through that list at the moment.
Yeah. Sure.
What else? And what else is coming out this year? Now that we've really got the VeVe app up and running, and for the most part everything is quite smooth. Another one of the big focuses is really going to be doing a deeper dive into each of the sections within the app. So, for example, there's a bunch of improvements that we can make in the market when it comes to searching or finding. Same with the feed. We want to add in the ability to do things like add friends and follow friends, and then potentially messaging later on.
That's gonna be huge.
Around your collection, just having easier ways to navigate through, and then a whole bunch of upgrades to the comic sections and how they work. Now that we're starting to get a lot more comics into the platform, we want to start adding more friendly navigation tools to
The showroom.
just to make that whole process a little bit easier. And let me just think off the top of my head, what else do we have coming in? Localization is also high on the list, so I know people have been asking that for a very long time. So we will start to roll out different languages within the
Ooh,
app.
that's big.
Now, when we do implement that in the first phase, all of the language that is part of the app is what will be translated. So you could, change it to Spanish. However, initially the drop copy, the drop content, like what our amazing guys on the marketing team publish and push out, that may not all be translated at day one. But at least within the app, you can the main kind of messaging will all be updated. We will also be bringing out new collectible types this year. As Reese mentioned, last year we brought out the 3D collectibles, and then we brought out the comics, and we have some new forms of collectibles that will be coming out this year, which I won't say too much about now, but also will be very exciting.
Amazing. I think the only other thing we haven't touched on for a little while that I never asked about is the Artist Alley, which kind of falls into that category. Is that something that we can expect to see this year? Or?
Absolutely, yep. So I think we have touched on previous AMAs that we will be bringing out one-of-ones with some of the artists we know and new artists that we are working with. We know that this is obviously how the majority of the NFT community works, where it's either a one-of-one or a one-of-5. And that's, I think I heard David touch on it earlier, just the, how we were doing a bit of a trial on that 7th edition of the James Bond NFT. So the Artist Alley, or whatever we decide to call it, will be rolled out probably on the web platform only, just due to the way that it's going to function. But I look forward to sharing more information about that in the next 1 to 2 months.
Fantastic. Hopefully that gives people a lot to look forward to. Take it away, Alex.
Yeah. Well, speaking of artists, I think we'll use this chance to kind of transition, reset the room, and finally get to some user questions. Sorry, everybody waiting. We obviously had a lot to cover today. But that said, we have a special guest with us today. I'd like to welcome to the fold an artist who has become known to a lot of you, and definitely has made fans, the VeVe fam over, Mr. Jermaine Rogers.
Let's go.
Welcome, good sir.
Hey, how is everyone doing?
Doing well, man. How's everything over in your neck of the woods? Staying healthy?
Yeah, trying to stay clean from the plague, and kind of. I realized back in the summertime that just to sort of start building my winter nest. So that's what I'm doing now.
Nice. So we've had the pleasure of having a couple of drops from you now on the platforms, beginning with Choices, the adorable murderous bunnies, or potentially murderous bunnies, in addition to the very creeping Darrow. And I guess we have some news today, right? I think we are excited here to announce an upcoming drop. Do you want to...
Oh, new Jermaine Rogers.
Well, sure, I'll do that.
Jermaine Rogers pump.
Here, I'll let you say the date. I've got a phobia of saying.
You must work at VeVe.
Hey man, you know what? I've been doing rock and roll concert posters for 25 years, and one of my fears is putting the wrong date on a poster. And so I always make the other person say the date first. So I'll let you guys say the date. But coming up here real soon, I'm going to finally and gladly debut the VeVe. The VeVe are a group of characters that any of you who followed my work in the past many years know that, especially in the toy industry, the designer vinyl toy world, the VeVe are very well known and very well collected. The characters themselves have appeared in a lot of my work, fine art. They've even, speaking of rock posters, they've even made appearances in posters over the years for bands like Queens of the Stone Age and Weezer and Ween. I think there's a couple of Primus posters they were in. But they are directly tied to the Darrow. So if you've seen the Creeping Darrow, and if you own that, you'll see some resemblance. The VeVe are actually a race of beings that were engineered by the Darrow. And the Darrow they're all smiles, but something is not quite right. And the veil are typically the way that the Darrow keep their hands clean. The veil go out and handle things. But this first series, Veil Series 1, is going to focus on a handful of veil that kind of were defective. They went against their programming, and they actually woke up. Something that the Darrow were not happy with. So you'll meet these characters, this handful of veil deviants, and see why they all are in they're all in a state of distress. They feel like they're losing their minds. So that's the characters that are dropping.
Nice. I've had
Jermaine is
the
pumping.
pleasure of talking with you for the last, since we've done your first drop, and especially so over the last couple of weeks as we get ready to push out these veil. And I gotta say, just hearing the story directly from you and how deep it goes and how dark and sinister these Darrow cats are, and what they've done to the veil, like, man, it is some trippy stuff, and I'm really looking forward to this drop. So there will be, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there will be 4 variants in this drop. We are looking at, I won't say a date either, just in case, but everything's looking good for the next, within the next 2-3 weeks. We'll see a drop from Jermaine Rogers called the Veil Specimen. So look forward to that, everybody. Jermaine, thank you so much for joining us. What else do you have on tap? Like, what else are you working on these days that we can look forward to in either physical or digital or other NFTs or future VeVe drops?
Well, very quickly, physically, always working on fine art and some other three-dimensional, sculpture and figure releases that I have planned. And then working on some things with friends of mine in the music industry, some Run the Jewels stuff that I'm sort of messing around on, and things like that. As far as digital goes, NFT, really excited because I was commissioned by the comic legends Cheech and Chong to basically create a. They wanted to come into NFTs. Those guys are both, for 50 years, those guys are outliers of society. So they've always sort of been into the things that everybody else sort of, poo-poos. And so they've been big fans of crypto and of NFTs. And I was, honored that they contacted me and wanted to work together. So coming up, later this month, towards the end of the month, will be a Cheech and Chong, a series that they are sort of presenting. And it's called Homies in Dreamland. And it basically will introduce a world of a handful of new characters. And, if you know anything about Cheech and Chong, then you know these characters, they love smoking out. So
Just a tad bit stony.
yeah, they're all, Dreamland is just a step away in our everyday lives. We just have to hit the right thing, and then you slip into Dreamland, and so that's where this all takes place. And we'll meet these characters, handful of characters that I designed that I think people will really, really like, and so hopefully everybody digs that when it comes out. Search it out, pay attention to my social media, and you can hear more about that. But obviously really excited about the VeVe thing that's coming up here first. Again, can't say enough about VeVe. I love being a part of this family.
Awesome. Yeah, we love having you, man. Just seeing how many times you get retweeted by members of the VeVe fam that we either come across my Twitter feed and whatnot. It's awesome to see that so many people are kind of gravitating to the work, and you've been doing it for so long and really kind of, opening you up to a whole new audience. So I really appreciate you being part of this, because it is an awesome community, and we love having you anytime you want to come up into a space or Discord or whatever the case may be.
Right on, man. And everybody stay healthy.
Right on. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
All right. So we'll move here now into the phase of the AMA, which is actually the AMA. We'll go ahead and we'll kind of blister through a number of these questions submitted on Twitter, and I think if we're running okay on time, maybe we'll get one or two people on stage. So I appreciate everybody waiting in the queue there. And again, my apologies. I know we had some technical difficulties, but also a lot to cover. So
Lot to cover. Big things in the VeVe fam.
questions in via Twitter. That said, we'll go ahead and get started. Jay Correa asks, I have Omi in the Ecomi wallet. I also have enough Go tokens in the same wallet. It's not letting me send Omi out of the wallet. It says receiver address required to fetch fees. Will this be fixed before the migration transitions?
Yes. I think, that's what Reese was touching on before. We're aware of the GoChain API issue at the moment, and we are doing everything we can to get the new version of the app out, which will resolve all of those issues.
Okay, sure. Just on that question specifically, though, it does say receiver address required to fetch fees, as opposed to the issue which is failing to fetch the fees. So that user in particular may just need to enter the receiving address.
Well, if you haven't entered the address, then the fee won't be fetched. So maybe double check that.
Yeah. And there are secure wallet instructions and information on the Ecomi blog
What?
for anyone who has managed to acquire one recently.
I listed my choices and it just everyone undercut.
Right. This was a hot topic over the last week or so. Eighth Chameleon asks, is the number of editions of Marvel comic drops decided by VeVe or Marvel? Why was the decision made to limit the drop of Amazing Spider-Man 252 to so few editions? There was a lot of speculation and or assumptions made about who actually got that drop. Obviously, as you can probably tell by just looking at any of our tweets that particular day or week. Do we have? Do you want to speak on that, John?
I mean, at the end of the day, we do collectibles, right? And collectibles are limited. And we've done many other drops before that are under 1,000. However, this was obviously the lowest comic run that we would ever put out. But we work very closely with Marvel on all of the edition runs, so it's not a decision that we make. We work very closely with Marvel on those numbers. But you can expect and anticipate that over the course of 2022 that we more than likely will do very low limited runs again. From my perspective, it's I like doing these sort of lower run drops, whether it's a 10K or 1K. It just adds a bit of texture to the to the collectability out there, rather than all comics being available at 30,000 or whatever the standard number is. Adds
Spices it
a
up.
bit of texture where there's some sort of extra rare ones in there. And at the end of the day, if you're lucky and succeeding to get one, then it's a great thing.
Yeah, and then obviously as we move into the drop queue system, with constantly improving mechanics for security, etc., that is going to become I think a lot easier to swallow for people, than just pure numbers, odds-wise. will prevail in terms of understanding of why you didn't get that particular drop.
Yeah, well,
really,
I think
it was 1,000 out of like 100-some-thousand people trying to go for it.
Exactly.
Odds
I
pumping.
think that's the main
Back
thing,
up to 6.2.
If you're going to take away anything, around this topic, it is that you are competing with so many users out there. It's not that anything's gone wrong with the platform or anything. There is just massive competition.
Yep. Okay, great. Nebajosa asks, front camera and AR, will we have that option? How is occlusion implementation progressing?
That is progressing very well, and in fact, the occlusion is actually done, but it is has been a little bit lower down the priority list of all of the other features that we're working on at the moment. But coming into Q1, I was speaking with the community development team the other day, and that's something that we're going to progress this quarter, along with integrated into that feature update will be the front camera as well, because hey, we all want to take a photo with our Donnie.
With our Donnie. I wish. So just quickly, so for people who don't know what occlusion is, can you just give a quick recap on that feature?
Yeah, great point, actually. So occlusion basically means that it will allow you to place any 3D object when in augmented reality behind another object. So, for example, if I was to, the perfect example is a selfie. So right now, whenever you drop a collectible in augmented reality, that will always be the foremost thing in the camera. So you can't really do a selfie with them with the character behind you. So once we implement occlusion, or once we roll occlusion out in the app, what it will do, it will scan you and detect you as a human being, and then it will basically what's referred to as mask out your body and allow you to put the collectibles behind you or behind any other object. So the ultimate outcome is it just means that the collectibles you place in AR will look far more integrated because they are actually interacting in some way with the environment.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, Hasselbeck asks, in the future, is there any plan to get extra points for OG seasons like season 1 and 2? I assume for Master Collector.
Not yet. I did consider that, as we were going through the MCP. What's more likely going to happen is that when we roll out the achievement badges, which is I believe, one of the last phases of the MCP development, you will potentially get badges for, if you have all of the collectibles in season 1, or for example, if you're an OG, if you joined before X date, then we will basically give you an OG badge, which, if any other user visits your profile or sees your profile in the app, you will have like an OG badge next to your name. So yeah, we decided to go down that path rather than add additional complexity into the Master Collector program, which already has a lot of different point rules.
All right, this next one is from Kyler. It's a bit funny because it is a bit loaded with the assumption that this is happening in the first place. But besides Labbits, is there going to be any other gamification to any current VeVe collectibles? You don't have to say which ones. But before you answer that, let me just say that we love the imagination from our artists. One of the reasons why we love working with them, because there's so many possibilities on what to do. I think Frank has been making the rounds, as has Ron English, about what the possibilities are for gamification and interactive type capabilities within the VeVeverse when that comes around. Maybe Jermaine wants to come up and wax poetic on how the Veil are going to deprogram themselves in front of the Darrow within the VeVeverse in real time. But who knows? Who's to say? Do we have any thoughts on that, David and Dan? I know that's kind of a hot topic in the community across the board. What things we would be able to quote unquote gamify amongst our collectibles in the future.
Yeah, a big part of this year will be all about utility. I mean, and we have seen, if you're on all 3 series of the wrong serial killers, you've got these secret rare popped out. So, I mean, number one is we are always looking to reward collectors in that way. And, I guess some of the stuff that the artists want us to implement is not doable. It just takes a bit of time, and we just need to make sure that we'll put it on the rank. What's most important needs to be done in the tech side.
And I think if I can add to that by saying, if you hear an announcement somewhere and it hasn't come from VeVe, please don't take it as gospel, because sometimes I hear some things online and I'm like, oh, cool, are we doing that? That's great.
But we definitely, we definitely exploring new ways to make things more fun, for sure.
Awesome. Okay, let's keep it moving here. Energy asks, why and what, if any, significance is there that the VeVe copyright date wasn't included in the Christmas stacks? It's the design choice, I assume.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Okay, there you go. Irish VeVeer asks, Ritmo, and I think we kind of just touched on this, but I'll ask it anyway because the next two questions kind of relate. Ritmo and Book of the Dead saw upgrades last year. Do you expect any other NFTs on the app to receive an update? And then the next person is kind of in the same vein, asking that the website says collectibles can be upgraded and customized. What can we expect here? Can and will the drop theme info be changed? For example, if we could remove Deadpool's outfit, which seems to be a hot topic of discussion after it was discovered that if you place Deadpool behind a snow globe, all of a sudden his sweater disappeared.
Yeah, well, you know, it's just lucky that his red suit didn't come off as well. Now, I mean, there possibly are collectibles that will be updated. Am I going to say what they are? No. You'll just have to wait and see. But in terms of the collectible customization, that is definitely something that we've been looking into for a while. And you know, we really see that there is benefit and value. You know, if you own a collectible, but then you could buy some additional, you know, limited edition parts for it that might replace something like, I don't know, let's just say they had a Deadpool's jersey, for example, it's the Christmas one. Maybe, you know, you could swap that out for a picture of David's hair or something. I don't know. But the ability to upgrade and customize collectibles is something that I'm personally quite excited about.
All right, excellent. Kip asks, I know we have car NFTs coming, but are there any plans for famous ship collectibles in the future, like Titanic?
I bet we see some kind of Navy ships.
Aircraft. I know we've already kind of debuted aircraft of sorts, USS Enterprise and the Bond glider. But David, any thoughts on actual real-life representations of ships or aircraft on VeVe?
I mean, it is definitely a category that we will look at. There are a few other things that we want to work through it before we get to the ships and the aircraft.
Whoa!
There's always things that we think about, the scale and the size of it. But I guess there could be a collectible model kit. Yeah, so it's a possible. We'll look into it. We are busy rolling out the vehicle production, so there's a lot more to come in that category to be announced in 2022.
Awesome. And for anybody who missed it, we had recently announced partnerships with Citron and DS, French car manufacturers, for concept car NFTs, which will be super cool, very futuristic, and that's in addition to cars that we already have on the platform.
And General Motors, which was something.
General Motors, yes. Yeah, that was an old one. It's been around for a minute, but looking forward to getting those out in the wild. Okay, keeping it moving here. Just in interest of time, I have a question for David specifically. As a collector, do you consider Journey into Mystery the first appearance of Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, and Jack Kirby on VeVe?
Yeah. I mean, we always constantly in talks with IP owners, and definitely these talents are top of our priority list. So we have communications with them. We just need to think, the relevant and how we bring it back. One of the major things what we trying to do is you know, with the NFT, and I mean, yesterday I read a whole article in New York Times about, you know, BTS announcing their NFT, or they want to look into the NFT, and the major hitback from their fans, you know, want to boycott the concerts and all that. And we at VeVe, we really want to respect the states of some of these talents, artists, and just ensuring that we can QA a worthwhile, meaningful program, and to make sure products are collectible, as well as the same time as that they don't get any negative publicity. So that's always on top of our, as a light bulb when we do the overall thinking. But we certainly have been, 2022, one of the things Dan probably didn't cover is that there will be continuous a lot of announcement of brand and partnership will be coming, and we may see some talent in this caliber to be joining VeVe as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Really looking forward to some of that. Okay, just a couple more, and then we'll get some people on stage. Dan, did you already cover comics and showrooms?
No, I didn't, but that is another feature that is coming very close to the end of development now.
Oh.
And we do have some pretty cool ideas as to how comics will be presented in the showroom. So over the next few weeks, we should be able to release some more information on that. But I'm looking forward to seeing showrooms that are wallpapered with comic covers.
Let's
Yeah, absolutely.
go.
Now that we have so many comics and more coming, that it's just going to be amazing to kind of set up galleries of all of these iconic issues from Marvel's past, and then any other comics that we happen to bring on the platform. I think it'd make it a really, really cool addition to any showroom. Okay, I know we have limited time here, so Chris asks, any update on the ability to sell full sets?
That's coming soon.
Haven't looked into that one just yet, but I know that it is a request from the community, so we've got that in the backlog. There's obviously a fair few things that we need to get through that will take priority, such as localization and all that kind of stuff. So we hear you. It's on the backlog, and hopefully it'll happen this year.
Okay, great. Ryan asks, will the OMI amounts needed for staking tiers be known before the token swap? Would be nice to know how much layer 1 versus layer 2 tokens I need.
We'll do our absolute best to have that out before the token swap.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and move now quickly to a couple of people on stage. Again, everybody apologize. Thank you for waiting.
I've been buying comics too.
We're going to wrap this up within the next 2 minutes or so, unless you want to speak directly to me or Reese, which, we're always game to hang out, but don't have a lot of answers. Okay, so while we wait for VeVe Meister to connect, I will bring another, just in case here. VeVe Meister, you there? No, not yet. Twitter's really having a hard time today, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's an app update that may be preventing people.
Okay. All right, so let me...
Blockchain up here?
Yeah, I can get blocked. What's up, Block?
You mean blockchain?
Oh, there you are. Oh, Blockchain. I thought you said blockchain. Rick James. Oh,
That's right.
We got both.
Hi guys.
Blockchain. Hi.
Hi.
Sorry.
Long time
Hey,
VeVe collector and big Jermaine Rogers fan. I have two things. One is probably an elephant in my room, and I'm sorry if this has already been addressed earlier, around the MTL. Once it gets rolled out, will the KYC AML process only be required for users who want to cash out, or be applicable for everyone? And that being said, will new users be required to KYC as part of the onboarding process?
Yes, you will be required to AML KYC for cash out.
Yep.
The AML KYC for users in the app, we are still working through exactly how we're going to do that. In the future, there will absolutely be KYC and AML, especially around the market.
Mm-hmm.
However, there's a fine balance that we have to find between onboarding new users and making sure that the app and everyone in the app stays safe and secure. So Yeah, no, I don't have any other further details on that at the moment.
Fair enough. And I've got another question, another suggestion. Around the waiting room drop queue, have you looked at putting like a capture when you're selecting the users to join the waiting room, just to make sure they're not like bots?
The thing is about a capture is literally the lowest and most ineffective form of bot protection. So I know a lot of users accuse us of, oh, you don't even have a capture, you're not even protecting anyone. But the reality is there is a capture in there, and the capture will only show up if it deems you as a low-risk threat. If you're a high-risk threat, then your account is going to be immediately banned. But just so everyone knows, captures virtually do nothing. So it's more than likely no, we're not going to implement that.
Okay, no worries. That's all I had, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining. Let's see. VeVe Meister is not able to connect, unfortunately. I'm sorry, VeVe Meister. Blockchain Rick James, what's up?
What's going on? Thanks, guys, for the time. I'll try to make it quick. My question is about interoperability. One of the things that's been going on within the app and the community is development of sub-communities. One community that's come about is the Omikongs, which is around the Little Friends apes. And we've developed a social network and almost like a social club. And in doing so, we've used your relationships that you've opened up with these different artists. This weekend, Frank Kozik is creating some 2D derivatives for the community, for the Kong holders. And what we wanted to know is, will we be able to use this 2D art that Frank is creating for us in our pods or houses in the VeVeverse?
We are definitely looking at ways within the showrooms, etc., to bring in outside NFTs. I mean, at the end of the day, if you have a showroom to showcase your NFTs, both David and I think it would be awesome if you can, bring in a picture of your Bored Apes or of a Kozak or a Jermaine community drop. So it is definitely on our radar. We need to get through a few features first, but that is definitely on our list.
And my follow-up question would be, do either or any of you guys own
one? Own the Little Friends ape.
Oh,
no.
I think I have a silver one. That's all.
I have a standard one. Do you want to give me one?
You're about to pump.
We will. If you have one, we'd like to customize one for you. I mean, if you look throughout the crowd in this AMA, you'll see a bunch of different Kongs, that have been customized, and people turn them into different PFPs. As you can see, mine has the rainbow vomiting rabbit, as Kozik describes it. But you'll see, how everybody in the community has decided to take this ape and customize and make it their own, and it's become a fun little project within the community.
Yeah, they're pumping.
Yeah, I did see all the apes. I was like, what's going on there? So thanks for the explanation.
That's very cool.
Let's move on quickly.
They're pumping hard.
Scotty, what's up?
Hey guys, thank you for having me on. Quick question. Now we're running out of time, but I wanted to ask to do with comics. Could we ever expect seeing anything other than Marvel, like perhaps DC or Star Wars comics coming?
Yeah. The short answer is yes. I mean, the comic collectible was a proof of concept to see how it will run. If there's an audience for it. Definitely, the whole comic section in 222 will be going under a new revamp again. So you'll start to see, other publishers and independents will be coming on board.
Huge.
Perfect. I'd love to hear that. Thank you guys.
Sorry to interrupt. I've got to jump into a meeting, guys. So I just want to say thank you very much for joining in, and for all your support, everything through 2021. What a bloody crazy year. and I'm sure 2022 is going to be equally as exciting. So thanks, everyone. Sorry, I need to bounce a bit early.
Oh, good.
I'll
We're just
stay
going
on
to wrap
for.
up. Oh, okay.
I'll stay on for 15 more minutes, maybe 4 or 5
Oh, okay,
more
perfect.
minutes.
All right, that's all. Yeah. All right, well, let's move on then to Heather. Hello, Heather.
Hi, I was speaking with the VVN3 Corey Old Rhubarb, and we had some questions specifically about the bots. We talked earlier about how you guys are tracking and that you're disabling accounts. If you disable accounts that have been seen as bot activity, what happens to the NFTs that they had in those collections? Do those get taken back by you guys and then maybe put back in circulation another time? Are they essentially burned? Just what happens to NFTs when accounts are removed from the site?
Okay, so number one is, the collectible that some of the user have built up, but not hundreds of thousands of collectibles. We put them in restricted mode, and basically we speak to them. They need to go through a KYC, prove that they're the actual user. A main thing is the bot's not really just try to get ahead of people, but it's also a security measure. We want to make sure, we block everything, not just for the bot, but any other security issue. So number one is we don't keep your collectibles unless when we look at your account and it's clearly just one collectibles and it is all going into one master account. We're tracking them, we're learning them. If your account's not being banned today, it's because we're still monitoring and learning. And basically, the whole idea coming up is we will be confiscating these and refunding you the gem back, and they will go into the pool. What
Oh,
we
that's
do
big.
price giveaway, like we did with the Lucky Wheel, Fortune Wheel, and Christmas time. It will go into prices for the community.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Right. Thank you, Heather. Let's move on now to a couple more. Who's really struggling today? So forgive me, everybody. Filmer, get a couple up at the same time, so just in case.
Hey guys, how's it going? Thank you for bringing me up,
Alright,
and I really appreciate it. I just have a quick question regarding just future roadmap of VeVe. I love just the aspect you guys have going on with the augmented reality, and I think that's something that I think a lot of companies are going to play catch up with. I have a question regarding like the future. Do you guys plan on having this maybe even in, let's say, when Apple releases their glasses, or something where we could use in like an Oculus?
Yeah, so we do work quite closely with Apple. We on almost weekly communication to
Huge.
their executive team and looking at their product rollout. Obviously, we've been mindful of all these very new early stage what they're bringing out, but definitely the AR, VR, wearable device is something that we really do believe in. And I think Samsung recently announced that there will be a series of TV that will be rolling out this year. That
It is
will have
connected.
the capability to able to receive NFTs and display on actual TV screen. So as long as these companies have a good API for us to integrate, we definitely will be looking forward to it. And this is all part of that experiment and utility that we want to give to our fans and these NFT holders. So definitely we explore not just in the AR but in any other devices out there.
No, I really appreciate that answer. Thank you. Just one more follow-up question with that. Will that be something that's more or less like on the web version? So is it going to be, because I've heard stuff in the past where VeVe is basically the marketplace for the VeVeverse. So would that be something where it's on a main platform like the web?
No, it will also be on your phone, for sure. The inclusion coming out and all these are by your phone. So, most of the AR will be tablets, phone, and I guess anything that's wearable, will be more with the web, obviously. Just you need that computer to really power that up with the Oculus you have.
Awesome, that answered it. Thank you so much, David. I really appreciate it.
No problem. All right, thank you. Let's move on to Naked Whale.
David, thanks for having me up. A quick question I'd like to ask you about the burning of collectibles and comics. It was mentioned in the OMI program, and I just wondered if you could give us any details at all about how that might work, if we'll get rewarded based on rarity or mint number. Can you give us anything?
Yeah, not yet, not in this year. I mean, when we were thinking about the collectible years ago, we were always thinking, if we have a digital black hole where people can just start burning their collectibles and someone would be tracking, the circulation will just continue to decrease. And with comment, we touched a little bit last year on, when you read them, the user read them, were we able to start seeing increases on the page? So when a collectible, a comment or secret rare slowly will deteriorate, and then you don't have a mint condition. We are going to try to come up with ways where we can make things more scarce, obviously, just like the real world. So if anything you see in the real world, we are trying to duplicate that. But nothing has been concrete being set, and we are learning in this space of how we go and do it. And the most important number one is that now all these NFT we have is a layer 2. It gives us more ability to do what we envision to do. So hopefully coming up, maybe it will be more like a Q3, Q4 type of task of how we do it and how we reward the users doing so.
And many thanks.
Awesome, thank you. Looks like Jay's still connecting. We're struggling today on Twitter, everybody. Okay, I think I'll try one more, just in case. Still seeing these spinning wheels. Sorry, guys, for the dead air.
We've got Uncle Jeremy there. Maybe we should get some.
I saw him. I asked him if he wanted to come
we
on.
do the last wisdom from Uncle Jeremy before we go
Okay,
on.
perfect. How about from Guile? Guile, are you there? Guile Goodell?
Yeah. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hi guys, I'm so excited to see how everything continues to evolve.
Hold on, Jeremy. Let's get to Guile, then we'll come back to you. Guile, you there?
Hi guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi. We can hear you.
This is my first time speaking in a AMA, right? I'm a Latin guy, as you can hear on my accent. I'm a proudly member of one of the Latin groups on Telegram, and I'm very happy for that. My question is, I love the comics, and I would love to see it all of them on my showroom. So the question is, do we need like a shelf or something like a frame to see the comics on the showroom?
Yeah, good question. So the showroom with the comic development is on the next on the rank. We want to make sure a couple things on the comic. Number one is how is the comic going to be displayed in your showroom? We didn't really want to have the cover just like an artwork. Otherwise, there'd be no reason why people will be buying the artwork, the 2D artwork in the frame, like we have released with James Bond or the Last Supper from Ron English. So the comic book, when it goes into your showroom, is actually going to look different than how a normal collectible is displayed. You can imagine how a user will be displaying and keeping their comic at their home. You know how
comic in the cases. Let's go.
Differentiated as different type of collectible. We didn't want the comic book to get lost in the collectible sense where people buying it really just for like wallpaper or artwork. So they're gonna do a lot more in your actual showroom, and that's why it's taking a bit longer to come out. And we are working right now with Marvel to get approval, if that's how we can turn it around. But yeah, it will be there soon, and we want to make sure that it really represents as a comic in that showroom.
Yes, but that would be awesome. I've been waiting since the beginning when you dropped the comics to see the covers, the art covers that I love the most on my showroom. And thank you for all your hard work. All the VeVe are awesome. Thank you so much. And I just want to say hi to my fellow mates of the Ecomi VeVe en Español. It's one of the Telegram groups. Thank you so much, guys.
This guy's awesome.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Bye. All right. Ding dong, Uncle Jeremy's at the door. Uncle Jeremy, somebody got a big promotion.
That he did. Congratulations, good sir.
Congratulations, Uncle Jeremy.
Thank you very much. We sold our company to private equity in 2019, and whenever that happens, people watch the operators very closely to see whether they stick around or bolt. And to be honest, it was a great fit. So I was really thrilled to stick around. People who don't know me, I'm the chief brand officer at a company called Jazzwares. We're the global partner for Pokemon, Roblox, Fortnite, Cocomelon, et cetera, et cetera. We own something called Squishmallows, all these other brands. But actually, one of the reasons why I'm excited to talk to you guys is I actually think that it may be time to start thinking about how we can maybe do some physical products to accompany some of the things that you guys are doing.
Snap. What do you think? I don't know. That seems like an interesting idea. David, what do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. We'll have to pick you up on the email.
Okay.
It's quite funny because the past 2 weeks, a lot of the physical toy company have reached out to us, and that's why we started using the word in the meetings called digital clone. So you basically get a clone of that physical toy with a digital. So there are a couple of other major companies have actually reached out. The top 2-3 toy company out there spinning some idea. But Jeremy, I definitely will be happy to connect. I think it is just going to happen anyway. One way or another.
Absolutely. And often it comes down to who holds the relevant license. And obviously, I think one thing that a lot of us has learned a lot of over the last year, watching the way you guys operate, and people that weren't even necessarily educated on the way licensing works in general, have learned that there's a lot of complexities when it comes to doing these types of deals. But let's put it this way: there's certainly things that we might be able to do together. But the bottom line is this: you guys are killing it. It's been so exciting to be a part of it. I'm thrilled to be part of the community, and also thrilled to be friends with all of you. So
yeah,
wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. I might regret this, Uncle Jeremy, but is there a particular character or license that you would like to see digitized and paired with a physical thing first?
Interestingly enough, we should talk, because obviously, there's things in Marvel, Star Wars, even Tokidoki, where there's some overlap with stuff that we're doing.
Yeah.
So I think really, when it comes to your top toy companies, what you're going to find is it just depends on whether the licensor treats this category as separate from the traditional master toy deal or master collectible deal, or whether they see it as a new line item where they say NFT enabled product that may be on the blockchain. Anyways, there's stuff to talk about, obviously, but the point is that I think it's almost like in professional wrestling at some point the fourth wall broke down. I think today the fourth wall is completely broken down between the people that are manufacturing product, the people that are collecting and enjoying the fruits of collectibles. And for me,
I'm very comfortable talking about it in front of 2,500 people. Like, honestly, I think everyone should be in on it. Like, there's no, the more educated everybody else is on what the underlying process is and how all this stuff works, the better everybody is. So,
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Jared.
And I'll ask, just to kind of chime in on the regret train with Reed. David, I'm not breaking any news here, but you've shared on your Instagram and somewhat recently that we might have a physical / digital counterpart somewhat soon. Do you have any updates on Rabbit Grin?
Oh, yes. So basically, the shipment just started to land to different parts of our warehouse.
Let's go.
And what we're doing, I told Dan it is very important that we minted on immutable X layer 2, and every single certificate has their mint number and their address on it, so that will be stuck on. And that certificate has already been pre-signed by Ron prior to Christmas. So and then we'll ship out together. We are trying to work out how we're going to release it, because obviously, as you know, there's only 100 of each. They are a work of art. They come in a huge big box. They are very limited, and they're not our standard price of $69. They are very high-end collectible pieces. The manufacturer went through. It took us about a year to manufacture these, because how they had to powder coat, chrome, put it together, and every single piece is just, amazingly beautifully done, and they're quite heavy. So
yes, I can attest to that.
Yeah, in coming weeks we will be, we will announce how we're going to sell it. It will have to be some lottery system for sure, and I believe that some of the participant who visit us at DCOM got their name down. So maybe I should get that short list of you sometime, and we have a look at it.
Yep, I have it ready for you. There was a statement of interest sheet at DCON, and the actual Rabbit Grin, the gold Rabbit Grin, was on display for anybody who came
That's
to DCON.
awesome. I wish I saw it.
From DCON, you can see that it is quite a stunning piece, not only physically, but the packaging, and to think that it is going to become paired with the digital NFT counterpart and a signed certificate of Ron English makes this thing, beyond, limited and just incredible would be an incredible piece to own. So really looking forward to that.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm just looking at this short list. For some reason, there's only one name on it, Alex Gonzalez.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. There must be some mistake. There must be another Alex.
All right.
All right. Well, hey, Uncle Jeremy, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Joining the party.
Thanks, Jeremy. You have a great 2022.
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait to see what's next. I'm going to read. I'm going to do what hundreds of thousands of people do, and read the transcript of this so that I can understand what actually went down for the last couple hours here.
Yes, it'll take me a while now because this one was a doozy. It was a thick one. So give me some time and I'll get that out for you for sure tonight.
Thanks.
Amazing.
All right.
Let's get a couple more people on, or we done?
Go ahead, David. Sorry.
We want a couple more people on, or we.
I was going to wrap it up for you, but if you were ready to keep going, I can bring somebody else up if you like.
Yeah, maybe we just do last two.
Okay. Do you want to? Let's see. Sorry, I didn't have anybody queued, but let me just pick one at random, and that random person is going to be Broccoli Bryce. Let's see if he can connect.
Oh.
And just for old time's sake, let's get the man, the myth, the legend as well. Oh no, error adding. All right, so yeah, Twitter is definitely having some issues today, guys. Everybody, I think maybe we'll just settle that. Keep on trying. We'll just pull it there. I apologize, everybody in the queue. That said, look, there's a lot we covered today. So please stay tuned for the massive Twitter thread that we'll be doing in the hours following this. And then there will also be, I believe, an audio archive in the Discord, if I'm not mistaken, if it didn't crap out like Twitter has been over the course of the day with a number of us. But yes, we'll have some kind of update recap of today, including the people still asking when MTL, even though we covered it. Yes, we will recount what was said here in the Twitter thread recap. I want to thank everybody for joining. I know this was a long time to commit to a VeVe community update and AMA. And I want to reiterate our thanks and gratitude for everybody who's been rocking with us thus far and really is excited about the future. And we really are just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, I can't state that enough. I know we say it a lot. We're just getting started. 2022 is going to be even bigger. And, we have all of you to thank for that. Is it David, any parting words?
Just follow on what Dan have said. We want to thank everyone for your continued support. It's been amazing 2021, and we're gonna work much harder this year. We're already back on deck fully.
Let's go.
Meetings already. There has, I think, 15 or 20 meetings I've done since New Year's already with the studios that we're partnering on. And stay tuned on some massive brand announcement partnerships in coming weeks. And look forward to see some great pictures emerge on social. So, thanks again. I couldn't be any happier to start the year with this.
Great. Thank you so much. And just to quickly recap again on the upcoming information sessions / AMA, we'll call them, on Discord and Twitter Spaces. Please follow Ecomi on Twitter for information on when we're going to hold those. We're going to be talking about token swap for those of you who do hold OMI. And then we'll have some more information on what that means ultimately for new exchanges, etc. Don't have any of that information yet, obviously, but once we do the migration, that opens up the possibility for that to happen in the near term. Reese, anything to add there?
No, that pretty much sums it up. I'll post some dates and times so everybody can join one of these sessions. As I said earlier, we'll run 4 between now and the migration date. They will all more or less be the same. So you only really need to make it to 1 of 4, and even then, it's only if you probably don't understand the process.
Right.
But for anyone who wants to brush up on their knowledge, feel free to join as well.
And it won't be like this where we expect to hold you hostage for 2.5 hours.
Well, I might stick around anyway. We'll see.
All right, hey, let's party. All right, everybody. That said, let's say goodbye. Thank you, everybody, again for joining, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, man. Thank you, too.
Stay safe.
Great AMA, everybody. It was a long one. There's a lot covered. 2021, just recap the growth. Unbelievable. A lot of big things coming. Appreciate you guys for tuning in the whole time. I know it's kind of long, but anybody who wants to recap this can always rewatch it. So I'm going to be signing out. Appreciate you guys big time for tuning in. As always, it's your boy, Johnny Da. We out, y'all.